kind of come to you today and on my personal site here, and I kind of have a lot to talk about, not for too long, so I want you to stick with me. You know, God comes to people in so many different ways, and I sometimes feel that there is this voice inside my head. And there are times when I don't know whether or not it is God speaking to me or it's not. I find myself wondering if God can hear my prayers. And I know He can. A lot of my prayers have been answered. And even though there's been a lot of things that I've done in my past, I just know that I did make a lot of mistakes. And I just feel so energized a lot of times. And there are times when I'm in my lows, I don't know what to do, and so I pray to God. Some Christians have told me that if you don't pray to God on a daily basis, that He's not going to listen to you anymore. And if you don't read the Bible, you're not going to learn from Him anymore. I just don't know. I'm supposed to be devoted to God. And when the chips are down, I feel like that's the only time I reach out to Him. But when everything is going good, I want to say I'm thankful for every day. It's like when I got sick, as many of you probably already know, I got COVID, and really did a number on me. I can remember laying in the hospital bed after I woke up. And when I say woke up, I mean woke up. Every day I prayed. I prayed that if God's going to take me, I'm ready to go. If you want to take me, I'm ready. I know that you're going to take care of me. I know all this stuff is going to be okay. But God spared me. And I'm pretty sure He spared me for a reason. And that's to reach out to the people and give them my testimonial. I don't know what that's going to be, but I want to do more of these videos. This is personally me. I do videos, for other projects that I'm working on, but this one is my personal one. Just recently, my wife Jody, I don't even know the date that she did it, but she left me abruptly. And I kind of knew why, because I'm not going to say that I didn't know why, because I believed that would be wrong. We were having problems, and I think we needed some time away. I really feel that her and I could have worked things over. But the only way it was going to actually work is if she, committed to us or to me or to God. And I was committed to her. And there was a lot of times she wanted me to change, and I changed. And she knows it, but she just wasn't unhappy. I mean, she was unhappy. I'm sorry. through that time when we were apart, it's like my relationship grew to God. And even though it grew, it became apparent that my place in this world is to live for him. I had a lot of help from the church helping me out to do certain things, to take care of certain things. And I was pretty thankful for that. And now I got a bunch of work ahead of me, but I know God's going to see it through. He's going to be there for me. And I'm pretty confident that that's the way it's going to be. My life, my upbringing wasn't really something that was bad. I believe I had the best parents that anybody could have, regardless of them divorcing when I was at a young age. I do know, I do know that I had two great step parents as well. So I had two mothers and two fathers, and it was hard, but my growing up, my dad taught me a lot of things about cars and working hard and, sticking up for yourself and admitting when you're wrong. My stepfather taught me how to seriously take care of myself, how to work every single day and just not lay around and not do anything. Chores were chores. You had to do your chores or you would be in trouble, plain and simple. That's just the way it was. He taught me how to take care of myself, how to grow a garden if you need to grow a garden, how to go fishing if you need to eat. There's so many things that you can do to survive this world. And he taught me that. Both of my fathers taught me quite a bit. And I'm very thankful for both of them. My mom was a hard worker all of her life. She worked as a waitress, she worked in factories. I mean, she drove in ungodly weather to go to work to help support us. And I don't think looking back, I really appreciated that as much as I do now, even after she's gone. I just know that there are times when I think about her, she's gone now. And I, my mom had her heart ready and she was ready to go when she passed. But we'll get into that at a different time. My stepmother was a very good woman. Um, and there's a lot I can say about her. A lot. There were times when, her and I would not see eye to eye, but at the same token, she was giving me life. I don't even know how to say it. Life lessons. Let's just say that. As my mom taught me how to be kind, humble, and to respect your parents. So all four of my parents that I had was incredible. And you really don't see it as a kid, you only see it as an adult. And it takes time. I just know that honestly, I feel very blessed because of my parents. Now, in my upbringing, my grandmother, that'd be my mom's mother, she was a very devoted Christian. And I mean, when I say devoted, she was devoted. She had her Bible with her at all times, as did my grandfather. My grandmother and grandfather were very poor, and they lived in a single room house. Their living room was their kitchen, and they had only cold water. They didn't have a hot water heater. Water heater, I'm sorry. They didn't have a water heater, and they didn't have a bathroom. They had an outhouse. And I remember staying with my grandma during the summers, and my grandma went to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday. And the only time they would miss, maybe it was because of weather, or maybe they were sick or something. But I know that my mother was brought up in a very tight Christian family. And during my time when I was with my grandma would read the Bible to me at night. It wasn't like reading anything else, but she used to read this Bible. And she scared the crap out of me sometimes. It's like, good Lord, I can't believe that this is going to happen. And maybe kind of a pray to God at first, but I remember the time when she prayed with me, and I can't tell you how old I was, but I do know that she wanted me to get saved. And so we both bowed our heads, and she didn't make me, she guided me on to get saved. And I got saved. I knew I was saved. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't get into trouble. It doesn't mean I'd do stupid things later on in life, but I know I was saved. And so growing up, I did get to experience a part of my family who was very religious. Now, on my dad's side, my grandma and my grandfather were very proper people. They were very comfortable. I'm not going to say rich, but let's just say very comfortable. My grandfather was a great, great guy, as was my other grandfather. So let me go back to my grandparents because there's a few things about my grandparents. We'll call them Grandpa and Grandma Haywood. My grandfather used to work on a railroad. And when I mean worked on a railroad, he worked on steam engines. So, this is back quite a while. And he, one time, some oil hit his eye, and it kind of made him blind in I don't know what eye it was, but I just know. He was a very tall man. And when he would go to church on Sundays, he'd wear a suit. And he had a cane. It was a white cane. And he used that cane. And he was very playful with us grandkids. I remember him quite well. And there were times when he would speak out, you better be listening. And I'll tell you that. He was a strong man. And I'm really happy that I knew him as much as I did. Now, Grandma Winnicott and Grandpa Winnicott, like I said before, they were very proper people. But my grandfather had this sense of humor that was just amazing. I mean, he was goofy. He was really good with his grandkids. He loved his grandchildren a lot, and it was really cool. I remember so much about him, but I do remember one of my fondest memories of my uh, grandpa. We actually call him Grandpa Pa. We just call him Pa. And one of the things I remember most is one day him and I took a walk, and we walked. I cannot tell you how far we walked, but I do know it was a long ways. And he talked to me. And we were talking about growing up, how to respect people, how to take care of people because they would take care of you. And one time I remember he asked me, and I don't even know how old I was. He asked me what I wanted to do. He goes, "What is it that you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do anything. I think it'd be cool to own a business. I think it would be cool to do that." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That's good." He goes, that's a good plan." But he says, you know, is that something you want to do? And do you know what kind of a business? And I just remember this conversation. I'm too young to even think about this stuff. And the one thing he told me, he goes, if you ever have your own business, make sure you take care of your employees. Because if you take care of your employees will take care of you. And then he says, don't look down on people. Treat people equally. I, I wish I could just plug in because I cannot believe I remember him saying those words. But he was a very good man. My grandma, we called her Grandma Gigi, just Gigi. Um, she was the most proper woman in my whole entire life. When we would wake up in the morning, my grandmother would already be awake. She'd have her makeup on. She'd be in clothes. She was in her pajamas, but she would be fully dressed in very proper clothing. And she would be making breakfast. And we would sit at the table and we would have uh, orange juice and we'd have milk and then whatever she was cooking for breakfast. Sometimes it was just cereal. I remember that, those little box cereals. I remember that. And so growing up, I really remember everything growing up. And it's kind of it's kind of cool that I had all these grandparents. And then of course when my parents were divorced, I gained two grandmothers. One grandmother, my stepfather's mother, I didn't get to know that very well. I do know as a teenager, I used to go see her at the hospital and talk to her, but she passed away. And then my stepmother's mom, Grandma Grace, she was she was a she was a very, very grandma like grandma. And I just, there's nothing I can describe her with. She was very outgoing. She did a lot of things. She volunteered for a lot of things. I mean, she even worked for the Salvation Army. So through my life, I had some really good parents and grandparents. So my upbringing was very proper. My upbringing had God in it. It had God. I had a relationship with him. And let's talk about my siblings. I have an older sister, Jan, older sister, Darcy, then me, and then my little brother, James. We call him Jamie. And my siblings, we were like any other siblings from any other family. It's nothing like the Brady Bunch, I'll tell you that. We had our fights, our arguments. Me and my brother fought as kids like you would not believe. My brother used to scratch the living crap out of me. He'd scratch me in my face, in my arms, and everything else. He was a pistol. I'll tell you that. My sister Darcy was kind of like the drama queen of the family, and she, but she was really kind. And as a growing up, my relationship with her was good, and I remember a lot, but we didn't really hang out and do things. We played board games, but we didn't play outside. She had her own things that she was doing. Besides, she was a girl. I remember that. My older sister Jan, she was like uh she was into a Christian group. She was a youth group. She hung out with the right people. She was very proper, because my grandparents, my dad's grandparents, Gigi and Pa, they basically, my two sisters were like dressed proper and they brought up proper. Not to say us boys weren't, but we were the boys. The we were always on the go. But my older sister Jan was like an older sister. She was I don't even know how to say, to be honest with you. But what I learned about my sister is that I remember all the good things, and I remember most of all is she had a crush on Donny Osmond. And oh my God, I mean, I remember one time she was sitting there and she was on the floor breaking pencils, and because he was on the TV and screaming, and my dad come out of the room. My dad worked third shift, and he come out and he goes, "What the hell's going on?" And I was just like, no. And my sister was just like, yeah, I'm going crazy. Later on in life, I'd find out my older sister was the most kindest, gentlest person. And my sister Darcy was the same way. My sister Darcy has a heart of gold. And I have really good sisters. Me and my brother, however, as much as I love my brother, there's nothing in this world that I want to see bad happen to him because he is a good man, but he definitely has a problem. We don't need to speak about that. But there's one side of my brother, and I know he's in there, who is one of the best friends a brother could have. We share the same interest in music. We share the same interest in movies and everything else. I mean, we share all this. I remember one time he wanted to be a drummer. He wanted to have drums. And he used to have some drumsticks. And at this time I was playing guitar. I'm a very good guitarist. And a lot of my family don't know about this stuff. My brother, I just wish that he would have followed through with that dream and got himself a set of drums. Me and him would probably be jamming. But our relationship isn't the best right now. And I pray to God, I pray for my brother all the time. But that's my family. So when I look back at a lot of things, there's a lot more in my life that I want to share with everybody. Because this has been a pretty long journey. I just know that in my heart, I just feel so much And I'm so thankful for having a really great family. I've got nieces and nephews, and they have children. Um, and every one of them are great. And it's just, and their children have children. I mean, it just goes on and on. And I look at how many grandchildren there are, and my children, my sister's children, my other sister's children, my brother's children. We all have had children, and our children are growing up and having grandchildren. Whew, I'm thankful for a lot. So I just want to end it here. I want to do more videos, and I hope people are watching these. I have one video that I'm going to be doing that's going to be really important to me. It's probably going to be one of my most important videos. But all I know is when I reach up now and I thank God when I was in that hospital, and I thank God for sparing me, giving me a chance to see my grandsons. I'm very thankful for that. And I owe him my life and pretty much everything else. I thank him for a great family. I thank him for a life. All the things that happened in my life wouldn't painted a path for me to follow. So I'm very thankful for that as well. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and of course, TikTok and Facebook. I'm on all of it. I'm on Twitter as well. So I hope you watch it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, and I'll keep making videos. All right. And thank you for everything. Bye bye.